Yes, first of all, tell us your feelings on being honored with the position of Attorney General once again.
Well, at this point in time in the country's history, it's of course it's an honor, but it comes with a huge responsibility. I really meant what I said on the campaign trail, that I feel that Trinidad and Tobago is at a point now in its history, an inflection point, and that we are pretty close to the brink of disaster. That is my feeling. The AG's office, of course, is a rule of law office, and there are some things that have taken place which, over the last weeks in particular, and even stretching out beyond that, over the government's term, which I'm very concerned about.
What are some of those things then?
I prefer not to get into specifics this afternoon. The cabinet has not yet been formed, but I will be letting you know.
What do you bring to the office of the Attorney General?
Experience, for one thing. I have served before 2 terms with a prime minister in a different party. Of course, I did not choose myself. This prime minister would have considered that I brought value. Something that has bothered me is the fact that when I served for all of the complaints, prosecutions were the way to go in respect of criminal misconduct. Now, if conduct was thought to be questionable, but it did not pass muster with the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Attorney General stood back. After I left office, the plethora of civil suits started. Now, if you go back to the old Wooding Commission, I don't want to but one of the dangers of having a political appointee take civil actions is that there's a potential for abuse. That's all that I say today.
Mr. AG,
but I'm going to be looking at all of those things very carefully.
Mr. AG, on the campaign trail, some very unsavory things were said about you by...
I don't intend to get into it. I think those things reflect more on the person who said them. Maybe he has anger issues. They don't reflect on me. I'm a human being.
Secondly, I wanted to ask you, each of your appointments as AG would have been under different political parties. Is your role different?
No, essentially the function of the Attorney General is to ensure the maintenance of rule of law and to ensure that you act as defenders of ordinary citizens of the Republic.
You expressed concern with respect to civil litigation being taken in pursuing matters. So, as AG, would you look at some of those matters because they're quite
I'm looking at everything. And in particular, I'm bothered about the fact that, as I said, I don't want to get into details this afternoon. I certainly don't want to put enmity between myself and my colleagues. But the fact that $1 billion is paid out to attorneys at a time when the rest of the society is suffering, that is something that causes me disquiet. I've had a civil practice, and I've practiced at the University of West Indies. I think that some adjustment must be made in respect of that. In my last term, I must say that I called in all of the seniors, I spoke to them, and I think that there was, I should put it, behavior modification, but I don't know what went wrong.
During your 2 terms as AG, did the legal bill ever surpass $1 billion?
I cannot say, but we did have a maritime border dispute with Barbados. I'm not sure if you remember that. It started off as a flying fish issue, but really the issue was about the carbon, which was under the ocean is blocks 22A and blocks 22B. So that